hello. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you watch this. Welcome to my channel. All right, y'all. So, ultimately, I'm about to do this reading real quick, real quick. All right. We're gonna be exploring Saturn and what exactly that would be having coming in for you in regards to reaping what you sow. I think I need to change the title of this. I think I'll do that later. But in any event, opposed to being the clearing, it'll be about the reaping. The reaping is pretty much what this is going to. All right. So I'm gonna kick it off a little differently than I typically do. The Appalachians deck is one of them that was kind of coming to me a whole lot. From Morning Glories and what that would represent and things of that nature. So, of course, not all readings are going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That is okay. That simply means that this reading isn't for you, all right? And if it don't fit, don't force it. All right, we got the salamander, five of diamonds. Oh, okay. All right, that's it. That's all. And then the overall essence is a ten of spades in the reverse. Okay, so since I really don't know these cards, I have to actually read off their meanings. But you got the salamander, the acorn, the jackrabbit. Okay, this is already coming. Yeah, because I know when it comes to jackrabbits, that's a rabbit that eats snakes. That's why this Egyptian deck was connecting so much. And then you have the nest. And then here that snake go again. Okay, so here's the deal that's coming into place with snakes. Snakes are, it's gonna be dependent upon how it is that you view snakes. Snakes have a fairly healing aspect and property in regards to uh the earth. If you pay attention to like the Amazon rainforest, those snakes are so big because they have a bigger ground to cover and aerate. One of the things that happens when you're growing things is like snakes, worms, all that. You need it to go down into the ground so that water can get down to the roots. Okay? So you got that. Then you got the work boots reverse. Okay. Then you got the two of diamonds, change and luck. And then you got the five of hearts reverse. Then you got the six of spades reverse. Okay, so there's some shit going on with some endings. As yeah, some of it's gonna be about the whole zombification aspect. Another portion of it, yeah, the whole birth and rebirth aspect of it. Yeah, and the other portion of with the card, the hands, it's giving cartomancy. If somebody would have watched the cartomancy reading opposed to a tarot reading, a cartomancy reading, that typically happens. Yeah, it was sometimes one of the things that yeah, divination can come into place with it is like with Aunt Caroline, right? What she used to do, she used to just have a deck of cards, and it helped her focus and be able to see whatever it is that she would have needed to see. So pay attention to that as well. The other portion of it is with there being, let me see, two sixes. Yes, two fives, two sixes, two fours, two diamonds. Yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily what they call it, a full house if you playing poker. And if this is a spades hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If this is a spades hand, yeah, it's about that whole three and a possible. The three and a possible, two and a possible. What happens when you get dealt? Can you bid your hand right? Ultimately, is what this is giving. So in that regard, yeah, yeah. If you're watching, right, pay attention to which suit it is you don't have none of. Yeah, some of this is gonna be about the words. Some of it's gonna be about the inspiration. Some of it's gonna be about the heart. and the irony of it being earth, wind, and fire, but there isn't any water, or the emotion is automatically implied within the music. Okay, so there's that portion. And what it is to not be in a fight with the whole clubs aspect. That's with me just reading them. I'll read the actual definitions in just a second. Some of the other stuff it is that I'm seeing that'll come into place with it. Yeah, it would be attached to an older reading it was that I did, where the mixed messaging, so to speak, is kind of what it's given. Mixed messaging, mixed messages, and things of that nature that come into place with betrayals and endings and reincarnation and things of that nature. All right, let's read these cards real quick. So we got five of diamonds first, right? A totem of Appalachian folk magic. This is going to be pertaining to if you can relate at all to any what constitutes as native essence. Another thing that this is going to be related to is earth magic, so geomancy and things of that nature, all right? And the grandfather principles. Yeah, how the grandfather principles, and if you're trying to align the grandfather principles with my a totem of Appalachian folk magic, the Hellbender was used by conjure folk in the mountains for many conjurations, including that of love and marriage, which is why it foretells such. If the subject of the reading isn't relationship based, it can also denote good luck. Known to four of spades, known to some as the devil's bedpost. This card holds only poison, representing accidents, fire, violence, and illness. Great attention should be had here. The details may be revealed by the cards in its company. Shown as a hollow acorn, the strength of the oak is gone. In Appalachian folklore, acorns are supposed to protect against lightning strikes. This can also mean your protection is compromised and you should take appropriate precautions. Six of diamonds, much like the rabbit in that wonderful tale, this one is a sign for you to keep going. You're on the golden road. This is what the mixed messaging is. Yeah, it's one of those. Part of this that I'm getting from it is it's about the different partnerships it is that would have come into place and what goes in, not necessarily only what goes into a partnership, but what it is to have to just go through a situation. Yeah, it's one of those you just gotta go through it. You gotta go through it. Go, not even necessarily go through it. So far, it's one of those you just how you just keep going through whatever till you get to the light at the end of the tunnel. And how they say it's darkest before the dawn. It's something else that I'm kind of getting from it. But the six of diamonds also foretells coming money. When paired with the ten of hearts, it predicts an early marriage or okay, ain't no ten of hearts, girl. But with the ten of hearts, it predicts an early marriage or widowhood. But also warns against a second marriage. Yeah, ensure when you give a person another chance. It's kind of what that's given. What's this? Okay, let's go to the Ace of Hearts. This card represents the house and home, something new. In a reading of love, it shows romance. With diamonds, it shows money and friends. With clubs, social agreement. With spades, it shows disagreement. Okay, so here's the deal that comes into place with it. Yeah, in this spread is all this. It'll be about different types of disagreement that would have been had and held in regards to some of this. I'm definitely gonna Yeah, say it's gonna be dealing in regards to the snakes. Snakes get such a bad fucking, they get such a horrible rap. And the reason why they get such a horrible rap is because of the demonization that comes into place with snakes and worms and all of, yeah, the thing with the one's reptilian nature, right? So that's that portion. The other part of it is it'll be in regards to, let's see, is this Robin's Nest is in the reverse? Yeah, so it'll be in regards to the robin's nest becomes empty, showing someone leaving the house, home, or luck running out. One of these things it is that is given is yeah, the whole aspect that'll come with empty nest syndrome. Diamond, Queen of Diamonds. Not the Jokers. Nope. Morning glories. Yep, that's the morning glories. All right. Morning glories are persistent. They will grow everywhere in just about any condition. As such, the morning glory was chosen for this card, which represents a good mother and wife. It may also represent a blind woman who, if the other cards present are right, can be overbearing, since morning glories like to take over more room than they are given to start with. Otherwise, the Queen of Diamonds may also foretell a wedding or other commitment in the works. Jack of Spades. Yeah, in short, it'll be about the whole house, a whole bunch of stuff bouncing around. It's a lot bouncing around. Okay, well we ain't got to worry about that part. Some folks, Jack of Spades, snake. Some folks are snakes in the grass. No matter how many times they shed their skin, they're still a snake. Yeah, one of the things that was coming to me before I did this reading is, can you tell the difference between a poisonous snake and a milk snake? Those are snakes that are kind of common here in St. Louis, and like garden snakes and shit like that. So what I'm getting from it is, in the event that this is talking about gardening and things of that nature, yeah, you might want to pay attention to what it is that you put down as repellent for them for other portions, because it may be drawing them in. That's one of the things that is coming. No matter how many times they shed their skin, they're still a snake. The Jack of Spades represents a young man with dark features, dark skin or hair, who has a rebellious attitude and shouldn't be trusted. Paired with the 2 or 8 of diamonds. Do we see? Yeah, we got 2 of diamonds. It's not together, but it's in the same spread. Okay, with the 2 or 8 of diamonds, this would signify gossip or a friend who isn't helpful, but their intentions are in the right spot. If it appears with the Ace of Spades or the Black Cat Joker, it represents murder. Red rum. It represents red rum. 10 of diamonds. Foretelling more money than the 8 of diamonds. This card shows all around success. Its continuation will be dependent on the cards following it. If bad cards appear prior, such as many spades, this card dims their power and effect. Well, it isn't a lot of spades; it's only 2. In short, it's more money on the table than it is, say, for instance, conflict. According to this, it's more money and love on it than conflict. All right. Its continuation will be dependent on the cards following it. If bad cards appear prior, such as many spaces, this card dims their power and effect. Whatever bad is to happen won't be so bad, and you'll still find yourself in a field of sunflowers. Yeah. Reverse, this card shows a lost dream or goal that won't be reached, but possibly also predicts a large amount of money lost in some way. Oh shit! Yeah, this is gonna be talking about the gambles that come into place with one's karma. How one would gamble their karma away. Some of it'll be about gam. You know what this is giving. I remember watching it, and it's coming to me a lot. It was this movie, right, where however many years you have alive, it showed up on your wrist, right? And yeah, so this is part of this is gonna be about the imprint of palmistry. This is from that particular reading. If you actually watch it, it'll be about the imprint of palmistry and the magician that come into place. But in this particular movie, yeah, they were betting their they were literally betting their lives. They were betting the years away or in addition to for their life. All right. And then they're being uh the rings being a happy card. I can't, you wanna know something ironic? I can't ever tell if this card is in the upright or in the reverse with this particular ace of diamonds because it's ring and it's a diamond. Like yeah, it's that whole aspect of yeah, what's intended versus what's perceived as far as the alchemicalization aspect that'll come into place with this. Okay. So a happy card, the ace of diamonds denotes a marriage when paired with the 2 or 10 of hearts. Okay. No twos or tens or hearts. Okay. Otherwise, the golden rings tell of a change in luck and good news. Reverse, the card represents bad news or shows secrets, whether a secret that should be kept or one that is hidden. In regards to shoes and the a breach of confidence and double dealing within your circle, especially from a person who on the outside seems like a flower. What about you? Gossip. Oh shit. And then there being the gossip aspect abounding with the 2 of diamonds, the clover and pennies. Of course, everyone knows 4-leaf clovers and pennies are good luck. And that's exactly what this card entails. It finances, it promises a good partnership. Now, you want to know what it is? Yeah, it's given like on this grand scale of different conversations it is that would be had and held in regards to one's luck and fortune and finances. Yeah, and the impact it is that'll come into place with it. Known as the Little Chapel, this card is represented by a stained glass church window. Growing I don't need to read that. Yeah, the whole aspect of the personalization of everything. Yeah, and how everything wouldn't be about a particular person or thing. Okay, but in reverse, it says this card shows divorce, how one would have to separate. The 6 of clubs with the 6 of clubs and 10 of spades, it is 10 of spades. If reversed with the jack of hearts, it can foretell a miscarriage or speak of one that occurred previously. Look to the following cards to see if the situation will improve. And the following cards after this is the 6 of. This does not look promising. This does not look well. No. All right. And then let me see. 6 of spades, coffin, reverse. The card denotes a resurrection from the past. Either a person, place, or thing will return from the dead. I figured it was that whole zombie aspect. If shown with the 9 of diamonds or the headless rooster, it can mean the presence of a haint, restless spirit, or spiritual attachment. It may also simply be a message from the dead based on the other cards present. And then last but not least, the broken trinity. All right. Showing harmony, balance, and overcoming of obstacles. However, this can be refuted by the cards around it. It absolutely can be refuted. Yeah, in short, what it is to coexist. What it means to coexist. Now, because what this is giving is, according to all these cards, the decks it is, what it is to coexist within oneself. Ten of Spades, Gravestone. Alright, this card implies more trouble ahead or enemies plotting against you. So some of this is going to be about the whole native aspect. Yeah, some of it's gonna be the whole native aspect. Some of yeah, cause I know ain't it like a deodorant or something that's called native too, or a body thing. So that could be something that could be looked at and reviewed. Yeah, in one site. The other thing is gonna be about how one would feel about a marriage, relationships, and these varying aspects. Here's the deal. Yeah, when it comes to the whole aspect of just looking at the cards at the in short, when you look at something for face value opposed to on an in-depth at an in-depth notion. Yeah, it's a lot of yeah, what it is to be outside. It's a lot of to be outside of one's nature. Cause them daggone nature's cards was calling to me too. But what it is to be outside of one's nature. Especially with what it is that they would know about. What's natural versus what's unnatural. Is something that was kind of coming to me in that regard. We're gonna get a little bit more into it though. Yeah, with this whole knowing more about what it is that one would have sown in order and how it is that it would have reaped, how it would have come into fruition and come into place. Hmm. Some of this other stuff that this is giving, yeah, it's gonna be about commitments, the different way one would view commitments. Within there being this three of diamond, or not three of diamond, three of pentacles in reverse, which would be the equivalent of it within one night expanding, and what it is that would have taken place 3 years ago. All the connections and connectivity that would have taken place 3 years ago that wouldn't have expanded, and what it is given that whole because the card I'm seeing in the same place of it is how one would mold a wooden figure into the likeness of a person, or try to make a person be somebody that yeah, make a person be someone that they wouldn't be. It's the whole role play thing, role play and actors and actresses. Her don't get nothing out of it. If you don't get nothing out of it, then don't fucking do it. That's part of it. The other portion of it is pay attention to what roles it is you that you will play. Something that's kind of coming to me is when I was watching Pharaoh, and yeah, because Will Ferrell came up in my daggone thing, and Matthew McConaughey. I seen them, yeah, in my pictures. I was like, I don't even have no pictures of these damn people. Why is this showing up, right? So it's that part. But no, and what it's like to live out in the wild versus what it's like to live in an enclosed space. That's that portion. The other portion of it is the book, The Country Mouse and the City Mouse. And what it is that will go on within one being emotionally unstable and the presentation of one's isolation. No, and what it is to be materialistic and not relaxed. Okay, so here's the deal that comes into place with this. Yeah, in the Appalachian aspect as well, heard say what you had to. There was a lot of changes for them just the same as everybody else. Yeah, one of the things in the tribal aspect, one of the things that people have a tendency to misconstrue is that everybody just walked around in the same clothes every day, all day, like they never washed, they never changed. Yeah, that's part of it. The other portion of it is in the tribal aspect. It's gonna be talking about how it is that one related to, or what relation one would have had to the chief. The other one, it'll be about the different ways, yeah, of misinformation, miscommunication, and what it is one wanted to be perceived versus what it actually would be. with yeah, and how it is within the just reading of it, you'll get more depth and understanding. In short, there's anthropological studies, and what anthropological aspects it is that one will have to bring into fruition. That's part of it. The other thing it is that I'm noticing, yeah, within this whole aspect of the spiritual contracts, all that other good stuff, right? Yeah, because this is going to be talking about some different opportunities that would have come in regards to one not being on the path. In the alchemical aspect, some of this is going to be talking about, yeah, what will go on in a marriage and in the relationships and all this other stuff. No, because one of the things that was coming up a whole lot was with that whole, on one part it'll be about, let me be your manager, but on the other part with that five diamonds, it'll be about, let me be your assistant now, or yeah, let me help you, right? No, because that's I heard say whatever you have to, baby. It's just clearing out. Oh, okay. Yeah, everybody don't want somebody who is who. Okay, when you have an assistant, your assistant does what you tell them to do, not you do what the assistant tells you to. Your assistant is supposed to know you well enough to know what makes you happy, and if they're your assistant, they're supposed to make you happy. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it makes sense. No, because the whole aspect that was supposed to, or was supposedly come into effect, is with the whole May aspect, Cinco de Mayo, and all that other crazy shit. And if you would have already, yeah, if you would have did the shadow work on Cinco de Mayo and for all that shit already, well before, yeah, well before, yeah. What does Cinco de Mayo mean for you? And whether or not you would have celebrated those, yeah, what on the spiritual aspect, what does it mean for you versus what it is, yeah, to I'm hearing conquer it, I guess. And then there being the overall essence of one being emotionally stable, financially stable, Queen of Pentacles, moon sign Taurus Virgo Capricorn, or sun sign woman Taurus Virgo Capricorn, and what goes on within standing, yeah, within standing on what's real with what it is that would be hidden in regards to the whole aspect of rebirth and birthing and rebirthing, past lives and things of that nature. Yeah, and when you're aware of what it is that would have happened in a past life, you could fix it in your current life. So it's that part. Yeah, take something only when you need it. You won't make it far being greedy. And how well it is. I was gonna say set things will be set aside within this King of Cups, and yeah, and the Egyptian aspect, it wouldn't have been something that would the nurturing aspect of reality, what's real. Paying attention to what's real, opposed to paying attention to yeah, and the reality of this King of Cups not being an option, not being a choice, and who and what the King of Cups is in reality in regards to there being this ancient aspect of being native. Oh, I used to say it all the time, and the actual Native Americans can and will attest. Everybody was traveling long before, and there would have been people who would have been from across seas during that trade route and all that other crazy stuff that was happening when the pilgrims landed. Yeah, that's why I couldn't be taken, not necessarily taken seriously, but why the trade talks and everything was going on the way that they were, because it was the Sioux tribes. That's what it was called. the Sioux tribes that they had to talk to a councilman. Yeah, that's what, and though that council. So this is giving for real some shit that would be going on with United Nations. That's what this is really giving. Some things it is that would have been going on with United Nations outside of one's mind, and acknowledging that beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's an offer that would come in regards to one reconciling in a tower, or one, yeah, reconciling a tower moment, or reconciling in a building. Yeah, 8 days ago, the other portion of this, 8 days ago, there would have been a situation that would have taken place with in the spirit world in regards to there being some different offers and things of that nature. For 10 days ago, there would have been a tower. I'm gonna go ahead and say this for those people who do practice ancient commit magic and have like books and stuff for that. Yeah, that should only work if you apply my art to your daily living. It ain't gonna work for you the way you want it to if you're not living through my art or through the grandfather principles, or if you haven't correlated how it is that that information would circulate to and through you. One of the other portions of it, I know it would be in reference to one's Akashic records, but also it'll be in regards to what it is that would have gone on with different blood disorders. Yeah, some of it'll be about like anemia and shit like that. Others, it'll be about how anemia is an acute form of vampirism, and how the most extreme form of it will be a person who will actually have to have actual blood, or it will have to have actual blood in order to sustain their body, period. Yeah, that's a real condition. That shit's been going on for years. That's not nothing that's new. Where this is coming in to fruition, where they started doing it, was when they were having them damn mummy parties and they were eating actual fucking mummies. Now it said, yeah, people just assume, people would assume or just believe that they were only taken on from across the waters, but they would have did that here, and the whole cannibalism aspect as well, being eaten alive. Being eaten alive or being eaten on live. Lord have, y'all play too much. Now in that whole vampirism aspect, yeah, how payment wouldn't have been what they call, wouldn't have been communicated, and inheritance wouldn't have been communicated. How a person wouldn't have told someone that that would have been something that they would have had going on with them. That could constitute as a family inheritance. Yeah, because that'll be about the whole bloodline aspect that could come into place. That's that portion. With the whole uh paying attention to what's in one's blood. The other portion of it will be a thou, a thou, a thousand. It'll be 1,000. Okay. Uh, the star river. Yeah, with the overall essence of, yeah, one not being an Aquarius but possibly being a Taurus. That's the other portion of it, and one the whole star seed aspect, and it being three star seeds dropped in at once. Her, go ahead and say what you have. So some of this is gonna be about triplets. The other portion of it is gonna be in regards to intersections. Okay, so one of the things that happens at intersections is you'll get a lot of spirits that gather there, period. Oh, look at the pretty bird. Oh, I gotta make sure I do that. I will. I'll make sure I feed the bird. But and when you have a flow state, and how well do you flow in your flow state from day to day? Flow state or schedule. What's the same versus what's different? Even when you know that even when you know that there are differences that can or will come into place, what differences can you see? What differences will there be? Some of this other stuff, it is Yeah, in the Lathos mathematics aspect, it's gonna be talking about the full, the overall essence of the supernatural and naivety that comes into place with angels. Yeah, ensure what it is that one wouldn't know, and the patience that comes into place with not only a person being naive. Oh, let me make sure I do that. Not only with a person being naive, but also with them not being on a fool's journey. Yeah, with knowing what journey it is you're on. Some of this is given when a person is on the path of the Hierophant. Yeah, it ensured the goal, the end goal, versus the starting point. Because the full, yeah, because some of it is going to be about the spiritual journey, some of it is going to be about one's journey and one's heritage, and understanding where it is that a lot of things it is that would have happened, and why it is, and the effects that it has on today. Another thing it is that, uh, yeah, and the knight's journey, and how, yeah, what it is to be a fighter. Yeah, typically, you want to know something funny? Typically, uh, spiritual people don't typically engage in those type of battles. Not in the physical, because you have to have someone to, yeah, or not someone, but you're supposed to be able to plead your own case, for lack of a better phrase. And one of the things that is kind of linking back to, and is pretty much central in everything, and the whole purpose behind what it was that took place with the relevance of the crucifixion, right? Is not 3 days later he got up. That's that fire and brimstone stuff. Stop. You need to really pay attention to the symbology that came into place with the damn crucifixion. Okay, the symbology that truly came into place with the crucifixion was when Jesus died, the veil torn. Meaning, you don't have to go through nobody. Now that, yeah, I heard that except through me. Okay, that's up to you to depict. Because in that regard, then that mean that the death would have been in vain, and it just transferred from one person to another when you supposed to be able to speak for yourself. One of the things I found ironic is, yeah, the desire and need for people to be a go between. That's what that's gonna ultimately be about. It's fun, yeah, be a go between, be a messenger. But what messages do you get for yourself versus the ones that you present to other people? That's gonna be part number one. Part number two is going. This is reflective of something that would have taken place 3 years ago. You know, it's about 3 years ago, but what is relevant for today? That's the biggest issue that comes into place with. Stop trying to replay the past, because if you fucked up in the past, you gonna fuck up in the today's presence because you fucked it up in the past. The challenge is finding something new and finding a different way to actually accomplish your goal, so that you can reach those transcendental spiritual truths, part one, part two, so that you can get a better understanding of what a tower moment really is supposed to be. Tower moments, people make tower moments to be so much worse than what they are. They really do. Tower moments realistically are, they are intended to bring focus and to snap you back into what will be going on in the reality of things, and within the reality of what a reconciliation is and what a reconciliation looks like, and if you can achieve reconciliation without the other person. Okay, twin flame journey, Lord have mercy, is ultimately, if a person can achieve peace without the other party, then you don't need, what do you need that other, yeah, that other person for, in regards to this whole reconciliation thing? Yeah, because what is given is how a person, or not how a person, somebody must have read that damn letter. Y'all read the letter, but you didn't pay attention to the meanings of the words in the letters. I said I already knew exactly what it was that had been done. And when you get a person who gives you an opportunity to fix shit and they don't want to fix it in that opportunity window, windows close. Okay, your opportunity window, when a window out of opportunity has escaped you and you have no opportunity, you have no option. Yeah, but what you would do is you would fuck up some shit for somebody else because you trying to impose your will. Okay, one of the things it was that I saw that had taken place, yeah, this was well, I'll speak on it. Corey Black, He had an assistant named Lethal. This little bitch ran his whole motherfucking life. Okay, this little girl was damn wasn't even really wet behind the motherfucking ears. Still had milk and was telling him what to do. So much so to where he fucked up with them contracts. It was that he did sign because he was too busy paying attention to his motherfucking phone opposed to doing what the fuck he was supposed to do in real life. I ended up telling someone else primarily because I knew this bastard wasn't listening to me. He had already been on some dumb shit with blocking people and all this other stuff, and a bitch was just trying to look out for his post-traumatic stress disorder having ass. And sure, when you got people that care about you enough to make sure that you don't fuck you up, and when somebody else cares about you more than you care about you, that person has to be removed from your life because you're supposed to care about you more than anybody. In that regard, six acceptors, the recognition that comes outside of one's mind. And what it is, yeah, and in regards to what it is to be blood and bleeding and bloody. Now, in the other portion of this, right? Yeah, in the Greco aspect, because that name Triplet came up, that would be talking about how there was information that was facilitated. And the biggest question always comes, oh, well, Galileo said this and Plato said this, but who the fuck taught them? See, that'd be the question, and the answer of it would be it would have been a woman that would have taught them. So you got to get down to the nit grit that comes into place with this. Yeah, Saturn realistically is bringing at the forefront all of the fuck ups that somebody else made. So to ensure whether or not you paid attention to what illusions would come into place and what reality they would pick for you. That'd be that whole timeline shit. Yeah, when you dealing with somebody who on a false timeline. Yeah, in that regard, it's not about vibration. Then it's about timeline. It's not about you not vibrating higher or none of that shit. The fuck, you fucking weirdos. Y'all do too much. Damn humans, they always do too much. Yeah, and in regards to there being information on record about star seeds and all this in the ancient teachings and how as it's coming forth, yeah, you'll see how it will replay in varying aspects. Now, one of the things I will say, yeah, with that whole twin flame, there's a twin flame community. Okay, this is the reason why I don't only read twin flame shit or I don't only read star seed or none of that, because in the twin flame community, the twin flames, quote unquote, will trigger each other, but that doesn't mean that that's your person. We're supposed to show one another the shadow selves. That's how it was initially. I know that's how I viewed it initially, with understanding what it is that would be going on as far as like vibrations and what information it is that would have been facilitated. And if you're going to talk about Jesus, then that means you're releasing the Aramaic records then, right? As it's translated directly from Aramaic to English, opposed to translating it through what you constitute as the Rosetta Stone, and then come into the Lord's Prayer, when the reality is it's not talking about the Lord's Prayer or ownership of land or persons or people at all. It's talking about vibrations and how a person can own themselves. But that's a part of the whole Mary and Andrew teaching. So of course you don't want to know or talk about that, because it deactivates the ability for a person to say, no, I don't want to accept this information. Eight of Swords reversed. So we going a little bit further as to what it is that will be going on outside of one's mind, or things that will be off one's mind, and what it is that would have happened 8 days ago. Yeah, in this whole Appalachians aspect, yeah, it's given that whole mind frame of the we are one, right? Yeah, and the abuse that could come into place with one part of the body. Say for instance, what we got showing? Throat is one of them. We got the throat. We got arms. How one wouldn't use one arms, but one would have to use their legs. One of the things that I typically say is get off your knees. Stop praying so much. You gotta stop praying and start walking. And sure, at some point you gotta get up off your knees, and you have to actually do something. In short, the universe is not your fucking genie when you haven't put the work in. When you've put the work in, it's different. All right, Queen of Cups, Judgment. This is in the Starman Tarot. So this is going to be talking about, yeah, as it's facilitated and comes through, how that would be the celebrity aspect, or that would be the cosmic aspect, and what it is that one would have accepted. Yeah, just because you may not be accepted on Earth doesn't mean in the cosmos you don't have a place. In short, is the self view versus the world view versus the humanitarian view versus the planetary view. In regards to Queen of Cups, what it is to be, okay. In regards to being a 5 card stud, it being 5 card stud. In short, you get what you get. If I'm remember that right, but but it being Queen of Cups, Judgment. In short, what it is that one would have nurtured in Judgment, within being outside of the community, not being in conflict, and not being a star. True. Not being a healer. Not being a healer, not being healed. That's part of it. And then there being, I heard say what you had to. Oh yeah, that was easy. When you tell a person, yeah, you are a healer, you're a healer too, and they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to that. In short, it's gonna be about which wolf it is that you feed. That was part of the reason why they got posted the way it is. Which wolf it is that you feed. Both of them gonna get. They gonna get what they need. Both, to some capacity. But which one do you want stronger? Do you want the wolf that eats negativity to be stronger? Do you want the wolf that eats positivity to be stronger? That's gonna be up to you in regards to this. That's the grandfather principle, but I'm pretty sure they had it with that. What's that called? The Oris. Yeah, that whole snake that eat itself. The whole, yeah, the eat my shorts or eat me. Right. That's that part. The other one, and the symbology that comes into place with if whether or not you know what actual angels look like, if you've ever actually seen one. Yeah, and the different classifications and principalities for angels, within one going on another day and the completing of the cycle, within winning at all costs and there being disappointment and holding on to one's happiness in the betrayal. How a person will be happy that somebody betrayed them, or how one would be happy that something will be coming to an end. So yeah, because Saturn, like I said, it deals with reaping what you sow. It deals with reaping what you sow. I'm gonna go ahead and put this the hell out here. If you didn't sacrifice a damn mean bird, a salamander, yeah, and with this whole peonies and some of that stuff, if you would have used a sacred offering, okay, yeah, because that's speaking more so across seas. They do, that's the more voodoo aspect. They have a little bit more respect for life. They don't have as much consumerism when it comes to like feeding a village, so to speak. So that's what that's giving. Um, but let me see, crocodile. You got crocodile, you got lion, you got salamander. What else we got? Yeah, it don't take very much to kill something. It takes a lot more to live with it, cohabitate with it. Yeah, this is giving some shit that would have been going on with some poachers. And then in one's vision, one cycle being open. And they're not being, yeah, within the completion of the cycle. Within the completion of the cycle, there being conflict. Something that was coming up is about that whole resentment aspect, and then it being a Palace of Cups reverse. Some stuff that would have gone on underwater, or some deeper rooted or deeply rooted emotions. That shadow side that comes into place with uh Not even necessarily only emotional upheavals. It wouldn't be about the emotional upheavals in this. It's given that darker side of Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, the and what it is that one would have nurtured as endings or betrayal. Yeah, how ending would be a betrayal. One of the things I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, is what is a betrayal or ending to one person is a new beginning for another person. Part one, part two. Yeah, according to this, a person not thinking about someone constitutes as a betrayal under this guise. Within there being this vision. Ensure, yeah, ensure how a person wouldn't have included someone in the vision. And then along this path, well, I'll be damned. Along this path, one letting go of one's happiness and not coming in with clarity 6 days ago and not being a part of the tree of life. Or, now, what I'm getting from it with that whole secrets aspect, what secrets a person has versus the secrets that they don't have. And you can't tell everybody everything. That's not your, yeah, that don't be the telling everybody everything. That don't be what it be about. Everybody can't know everything all the time, especially when you notice patterns. So let's go ahead and clear this out. Yeah, patterns in the Saturn aspect. Not only karma, but reaping what it is that one would sow. And the dynamic of people calling karma a bitch. Karma is associated with Saturn, and Saturn is still in debate on the feeling, or is it a feeling situation, or is it a doing situation? And they're, Saturn really not caring about what it is that one would have nurtured, but more so the ambitions that will come into place with how one depicts their drive according to the humanitarian perspective. Yeah, in short, that's where the age of Aquarius with that whole technically, that's where it's changing, it's shifting and changing karma. Because karma looked different, yeah, in that Piscean age because all something has to do was look good. It didn't have to feel good or be good. It just had to look good. Within the influence of judgment or Cancer, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn in the cardinal signs. As a reaction, the light bulbs going off. What it is for one to have a fixed source, a fixed light source. Like, yeah, it's giving the whole. Have you paid attention to light codes? And do you pay attention to light codes? Within this whole King of Wands, Ace of Swords. Yeah, in short, the abuser's truth, and the truth of one who would have passed away, and a karmic being the truth, and one not being in conflict and not shifting their inspiration. Yeah, what makes a person karmic versus what doesn't? You're what you do. A karmic for the negative versus a karmic for the positive. It's gonna always be about what you do to and with that person. And if you can tell and depict what would be puppeting you, because that's something else that would come into place with it. But in regards to the whole situation with Triplet, when I was at Frable Elementary, that was the last school that I worked at. That's part of, yeah. And Triplet had been praying because he could not be on that third floor in his office. He had been, and I want to say he's a Libra and he has power to speak things into existence. So when those types of situations came up, yeah, I ain't have a problem with playing the music. Now, what happened was I got demonized for playing healing tones and helping the children progress. In short, where progress is constituted as a betrayal. I mean, that makes sense, especially when we consider this on a political scale, because Lord knows they don't want a socialist society. They view that too much as communism. But we are talking about the same people who have no idea about what the fuck the health department or the World Health Organization and all this other stuff really is or really does. They just made a whole bunch of assumptions. Anytime you get a person who put wrestlers in those types of positions just because that's who they get along with, yeah, that's a problem. They don't have no real humanitarian aspect. Everything turns into entertainment. And if everything is going to be entertainment, well, at least entertain me by doing the right shit and making sure everybody is eating and everybody is taken care of. That's that part. Yeah, Neptune retrograde highlighted that that was something that would have been hidden about a person, not about one not being on a path and not being on a path and it not being a world that one would have created. In short, that wouldn't have been what the person would have did or how it would have gone. Within not being a teenager, some of this is gonna be about that midheaven aspect 3 years ago and how oh yeah, just yeah, not being a teenager in the stable aspect, but in a apology. Okay, what is given is a it must have been something that would have been said to oneself. One of the things that did come to me, and then I can get off here because I think that's the end of this. One of the things that I did hear, and I was like, oh my goodness, how dare he say that? This motherfucker is supposed to be a scholar. Oh my goodness, I cuss so much, but this I utilize profanity quite a bit. The heartache in the spiritual contracts. Okay, with one being attractive and walking away. So here's the deal. And there being the finance, some of this is going to be about financial abuse, other portion is going to be about no, it's not the telepathic nature, it's going to be about deep rooted and the geometric geomantic not geometric, geomantic aspect of King of Pentacles. No, cause with the whole summoning aspect, motherfuckers, let me stop. I'm gonna stop. Anyway, with the whole summoning aspect, right? Yeah, after you kill a person, stop trying to summon them back. You can't. No, you not even there. You couldn't even. You doing shadow work. Shouldn't you be a little bit more concerned about that portion? You don't get to actually. This is the thing that people don't really understand. You don't really start doing your past life shit until after you've mastered everything you're supposed to do in this particular life. That's when it breaks off. That's part of it, because you need to make sure you've understood what it is that happened in your day-to-day life for so long so that you can pick up on patterns and things of that nature going down the road. That's that part. The other portion of it, right? I remember hearing it was Dr. Umar Johnson. Annoyed me so very much to hear him say this. Woman stood up in the middle of one of his lectures and stated that she was Native American, she was Indian, and he went off on her so bad. Yeah, because she knew who she was. Him being a scholar, he needed, yeah, and sure, when you think knowledge is power and all it is your weakness. It's not your power, that's your weakness, because knowledge is something that's ever expanding. It's not something that is limited to one particular space or even application. That's why you have different learning styles. That's why you have different teaching methods, different teaching modes. Yeah, and it depicts whether or not you can teach yourself. Yeah, after a certain frame, you should be able to teach yourself. Okay, so within the heartache that comes into place with one being attractive, or 3 days of one attracting a lot of different emotions, and some of this stuff is going to be about the heartache that would have been attracted in August. And the karmic aspect that comes into place with one being a Queen of Wands, the heartbreak within one being a Queen of Wands and walking away. I'm hearing that song. Da, 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 do looks like a lady. Oh, pause. Okay. I heard say what you had to. If the question that came into place is in regards to why it is I stopped watching Connected Conduit, is that what that's about? I stopped watching Connected Conduit because I noticed that a lot of the stuff it was that would manifest that would have been attached to those readings. Uh, she got it wrong. She got it hella fucking wrong. Or it's not that she got it wrong. That's not what I'll say. She didn't get it wrong. The people interpreted it in the wrong facet, and they interpreted it and applied it to what they wanted it to be opposed to what it actually is. Typically, whenever you're doing a reading, typically whenever you watch a reading, you're supposed to look for signs and synchronicities of shit that happens or that would have gone on in yourself. Don't look out on the outside all the damn time for it, unless you're looking at the comparison or contrast of your behaviors possibly at that age or at that mind frame when you were in that mindset. Now, if you 60 years old and you could still relate to a motherfucker baby mama, that's something you gonna really need to pay attention to, especially when you're talking about a world where women no longer have the right to choose. Don't nobody want to be nobody's baby mama or be they side motherfucking piece or none of this other crazy shit that y'all be trying to put out here. Yeah, that's not something that's ever been desirable for any woman. We just wanted to be comfortable. We wanted to be comfortable, and y'all didn't know how to control y'all damn selves. And then you get mad because we do shit like burn our bras. We don't. Yeah, you have to. Well, for some of us, have to wear a bra so that you can function. But if you can go without it, you can just go without it. Yeah, y'all don't get me started. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm not going there. I already got started. But let me finish. Ultimately, the main thing you want to do is you want to get a better understanding in regards to everything. Saturn bringing in everything that would have been missed. Everything that would have been missed. Everything that would have been lost. Right? I heard something about and what it feels like to eat at a table with you. You want to know something? Yeah, let me fuck it. I'll go ahead and say it. A turn at the table was something that realistically, that I inspired. I inspired that shit, and nobody really wanted to be at the table with me, which is fine. That's why I typically would have a table for one. Where I would be dining by my damn self is irrelevant. I'd be by myself. I would have been by myself in those moments. And in addition to that, everybody knew, anybody who truly knows me knows the whole purpose behind me doing initially the paying attention more to myself. I initially started paying more attention to myself because there was a situation that took place right before my birthday. I told this person 2 motherfucking days, and it's coming through. Okay, well, it's coming through Taurus. This particular card wanted to is one of those. You don't need no signs. You don't need no signs. You just do it right here. Yeah, because Uranus being in Taurus means everything is just direct. And what constitutes as a rebellion? A direct rebellion with someone who would expect for you to talk to them would be that you don't say shit to them. A direct rebellion for the whole do not engage, and that would be if you would typically, if you know that a person and you aren't on the same. This can come according to one's intuitive nature. Because I had a situation that just came up. I know what that person was on at that time. So with that, me knowing what they were on at that time, and they don't look any different energetically. See, some people, you will look different according to your energetic basis and energetic setting. And you could tell if a person is still on the same things based out of, the reactions. The reactions, their reactions. But ultimately what it was that ended up taking place was, she was talking a whole bunch of shit. And the irony that came into place with that, the little chick, Cece, she came up to me, or not came up to me, but we were on Facebook, and she inboxed me and talking about some damn high. It's one of those, girl, you ain't never fucking talked to me a day before in your life, and you don't like me. Go on some damn word. Yeah, and the problem that'll come into place with trying to recreate that and the reality aspect of, though the people may have similar or same names, but those aren't those people. So trying to make it seem like they have to be the same people or it has to be the same situation is where you gonna fuck up every time. And then that also cancels contracts for other people, all because you trying to make, yeah, it's like don't let nobody pull you into that bullshit is ultimately what I say in regards to that. Spiritual aspect. An unusual example of your beliefs as a full-time job. Oh, pause. No, because this comes into place with that whole and when you dealing with the grounded nature of the statement of I want to read cards all day, right? Well, within having the ability to read cards all day, that means everything is taken care of. That's something that's implied in a romantic relationship or in any type of relationship, that the person is actually taken care of and at a state or a status where they can do that all day. Yeah, it's about a motherfucker being a smart ass and then complaining with you because it's when I was, I gave you what you want. No, you didn't, bitch. Quit fucking playing. You didn't give nobody what they wanted but your fucking ego. And the aspect that comes into place with one's categorical categorical realization of what type of love is a priority for them. So it's that. But that's the spiritual aspect. Yeah, and this is in agreement with the whole hierophant aspect and all that other stuff. And how a person would accept that you would be a spiritual person and that's your job. Which means that it would need to have been paid for. And if there was forgiveness that was extended, you shouldn't keep doing the same shit over. No, if you've done bad business with a person, they're typically not going to want to do business with you again. That's the whole reason for the what constitutes as financial abuse. Y'all acting like Ike and Tina. What's love got to do with it? In the business aspect, the love aspect is about the reciprocation, you assholes. And whether or not it's always taken care of. The mental portion of a different way of looking at the cost of serving. Pay attention to what it costs to serve. The physical aspect of an unexpected change, use the most direct way and do it a little at a time. Right. One of the other things that was coming to me was during a cancer reading was I did some years ago. It was quite a few different signs that came up, but it'll be about you can do it your way. You don't have to do it somebody else's way. And how as a reaction, yeah, it's one of those a person wouldn't want to do it their way. They would want to do it the way somebody else tells them to. Yeah, that means that you don't have very much control of your life. That happens a lot when you're dealing with not only PTSD, but with institutionalization to any capacity. Because the educational system does the exact same thing. So it wouldn't be about institutionalization alone, it'll be about programming. How it is one would have been programmed. All right, so reading it one last time. Yeah, what Uranus is bringing in, because I haven't done a reading on Uranus. Oh, okay. Uranus and Taurus. That was not the house it was coming through. It was coming through the sixth house, not, but the eighth house was in there too. And the similarities that come into place with Virgo and Scorpio essence, and how with Scorpio essence, it comes off as Virgo when it's in its higher vibration. Now, one of the songs it was I listened to, oddly enough, yeah, I like the song, but the person looks too much like another individual, and it's one of those, yeah, but I still like the song though. I just do because it was popular at the time, and that's a part of the programming that'll come into place. If something was just popular at the time versus it being long standing, whether it's a classic or not. So it's that part, but the spiritual aspect of an unusual example of your beliefs as a full-time job. Are you willing to invest in yourself and pay yourself first? That's the other part. A different way of looking at the cost of serving, and in short, yeah, what it is to serve, and uh what it would cost for you to serve a person according to your beliefs. And then the physical aspect of an unexpected change, use the most direct way and do it a little at a time. Yeah, some of this is going to be about the whole payment plans. You want to know something? When it comes down to payment plans, I don't know how I really feel about payment plans. Yeah, because it not because if you're looking in the karmic aspect, the payment plan portion that'll come into place is you only get a little bit of karma at a time, but pay attention to whatever it is you put out there. Because if you didn't put out a little at a time, then you're not gonna get back a little at a time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit, gave you a tad bit of an inclination. There's a few different things it is that will be going on. If you like scheduling on personal touch of clarity, you're more than welcome to do so. Lightwork ain't lightwork LLC at gmail.com. Okay? Because see, remember, light work, it ain't like work. It is not light work. It's not light work. Not even a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So please make sure you take notes and make sure you understand where to apply the different notes it is that you are taking so that you can apply it to your life. All right, and then that way you can stay like while you work.